So now we are recording, and whatever you say will be recorded and posted on my YouTube channel. So be careful with what you say. You can type in the chat. That's not gonna be recorded. Well, it will be recorded, but it's not gonna be posted. Anyway, I want to show you this. So I filmed a video today of my dog sleeping, and he sleeps with his eyes open. It's really funny. Let me show you. Oops. Oh, not this. Here. So make sure you have your sound on so you can hear him snore. You see his eyes are open and he's snoring. And you can even see his eyes moving around. And then I'll call him. Mommy? And you see his eyes get back to normal. If I close his eyes, I tried. If I close his eyes, he's gonna be awake. And then it's gonna take him a while to fall back to sleep. But when he falls back to sleep, his eyes are open again. I know they get dry, but he doesn't always sleep with his eyes open, but sometimes when he's like okay. So sometimes he does that when he doesn't really wanna sleep, but he's so tired, so he falls into sleep, but he didn't wanna sleep, so he has his eyes open. It's really funny. Yeah, anyway. Oh, I'll show you my cat since we're here already. Yes, I took this picture yesterday. Yesterday, he had his tongue out. So cute. I'll show you more pictures. Because I showed the pictures in my other tutorial, so I'll show you guys as well. To be fair, this is the other cat. So I want to, sorry, I went to Dollarama to get the ice cube tray, and they have all the Halloween costumes out already. So I saw the ones for pets, and there is one that's like a bee costumes. So I was like, oh, I want to put it on my cat. So I did it. She didn't like it. She was really not mad at me, but she looks kind of depressed. So I took it off. After I took this picture, she was not happy with this. What else do I have? Oh, this is my cat on my bed. Look at how long he is. Another picture. Oh, this is this cat. Yeah, her eyes are so pretty. They're so blue, like ocean. Anyway, I think that's it. Do I have more? Oh, this is my cat sleeping. I don't know why he sleeps like that. I mean, he's not really asleep, but sometimes he sleeps like that. My dog. This is when I went to the aquarium. Took a few pictures. Do you guys see this lobster has 3 claws? Like here, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this 3-clawed lobster. That's why I took a picture. I visit the aquarium very regularly because I have the annual pass. Let me show you the annual pass. So I bought an annual pass for aquarium. Oh, where is my annual pass? Do I? Hold on a sec. I don't know where they go. Seems like I do not have it. but okay. Probably my boyfriend hasn't. So I have an annual pass, so I regularly visit the aquarium. But each time I go there, I take a few pictures because it's. Oh, let me show you the last picture I took when I went to the aquarium. Oh, here, see? Oh, awkward pictures. Always, every time I go there, I take a picture of this because this is so funny. I think it's called Seesaw something something. Don't remember the name. Oh, and this. See, I took many pictures of. So, look at this. So, there's a inside joke between me and my friends. So, if you look at this map, I hope you can see that the longest bluefin tuna migration, and look at where they started and where they ended, and then they went all the long way and back to like right next to where they started. So so this is proofs. This is not proofs. Anyway, so because of this, there's an inside joke between me and my friends. We always say like when someone made a stupid mistake or something like that. So we say that's a blue tuna move. Bluefin tuna move. Cause like, they go all the way and then back to the original place. Not really, but like right next to it. So that's our inside joke. Could be our inside joke as well. We can say you made a bluefin tuna move. Yeah, that's your favorite move. Yeah. So I went there. This time I actually went there to make sure I take the picture. Cause like some of my friends they didn't go there and they do not understand why we always say bluefin tuna move. And we're also like, when people do something really smart, we say big brain. And sometimes we say blue tuna feet, a bluefin tuna brain. So it's like small brain and small brain. Yeah, do that as well. So I wanted to show my other friends why do I always say this. That's why I took a picture. Pretty interesting. Anyway, that's it. Um, hold on. Let me connect to my iPad and we'll do 102. Huh. Let me stop sharing my phone. Oops. Okay. Which topics were you doing today? You'll see in a moment. Huh? That's weird. Why is it not connecting? There we go. So we're doing those. We're doing triangle inequality. By the way, not so important in this course. Set operations important. We'll sketch sets. Don't think we'll have time to do this because based on my last tutorial, we didn't have any time to do that. And 4, we'll do proof set identities. This is the most important thing for today. Okay, so make sure you understand this. Really, really, really important. And I should send you a copy of this, right? Just give me a moment. I will send a copy to you. Okay. So if you look in the chat, you'll see a copy of this tutorial worksheet. And remember, again, I'm not doing the same question with the other TAs. So if you want to see what they are doing, you can watch my recording or you can go to another tutorial. It's really up to you, okay? But we're doing different things. That's what I want to say. Let's start. Oh, before we start, how was the first quiz? I feel like I have to ask this because I'm marking your quiz. I'm marking the last question. First quiz will be easy, pretty fair, stressful. Your marks, well, I finished grading. So we have one, two, we have 5 TAs grading this quiz. Three of them finished already, and we're still waiting for the other 2 TAs. But you have to understand there are 1,000 of you, and it takes time. It really takes time. Also, marking on Quarkus takes a lot of time. We prefer a quad mark. We do not know the average yet because one of the questions not graded yet. So the average right now is like not including the first question, which was two marks out of 10. So 20% is not counted in yet. Oh, I get first easy, pretty fair, stressful, no way, good, no, hard. Okay, so everything's okay. Let's look at today's tutorial. So we'll do a triangle inequality, as I mentioned, not so important, but we'll still do it. So triangle inequality says that for any 2 real numbers, x and y, for any 2 real numbers, x and y, we have the absolute value of x plus y is less than or equal to the absolute value of x plus the absolute value of y. Although this is called triangle inequality, I still want to say to do those questions, it's actually really similar to AGM inequality. They're different, but they are similar in some way. I mean, just hear me out. So back in last week, I talked about how do we approach AGM inequality questions. Similarly, you are doing the same thing. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to find your circle and your square. Okay, why do I use circle and square? Because I do not want you to think your x is just x. It could be anything. It's just anything can be it. So when you approach those questions, you are basically trying to find those. As long as you find them, you are done. You're basically done. Okay, I'll give you one example. The first one, example 1A, will be my example for how do I find my square and my, what is it? My square and my circle. Okay, I'll use the first one as my example. So look at this. So we have the absolute value of x minus y is less than or equal to the absolute value of x plus the absolute value of y. If you compare this with our triangle inequality, compare those two, you will see that this is a minus sign. So that's kind of annoying. I want to get rid of it. So how do I get rid of a minus sign? I can plus a negative number, right? So that's my first step. I want to get rid of this, so I'm gonna add a plus here. So I have something plus another thing. So now I'm gonna guess, well, my x is gonna be my circle and negative y is gonna be my square or rectangle. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm guessing my a equals to x. And my b equals to negative y. Then by triangle inequality, we would have the absolute value of a plus y is less than or equal to the absolute value of a plus the absolute value of b. And then you can substitute those back in. You will get x plus negative y absolute value of this is less than or equal to the absolute value of x plus the absolute value of negative y. Now let's simplify this even more. You will get x minus y less than or equal to the absolute value of x plus the absolute value of y. Why? Because those two are equal. And this is exactly what we need to prove. Okay, so we're done. Any question? Question? Comments? Complaint? No? Okay, so I want you to try B and tell me what is your A and B. This means the end of the proof. The proof is complete. How is this so much easier than stuff in lectures? Because it is easy. It's not a hard question. Okay, let's say, what is my A? Compare this to this. What's your guess for A? X minus Y. Okay, nice. So A is X minus Y, B is Y. Then by triangle equality, we have this. You sub in, you will get X minus Y plus Y. This is the same as absolute value of X less than or equal to X minus Y plus Y. So we're done. Proof is complete. So we put a square at the end. Any question? Why did you do? Because A plus B. So A plus B. Basically, I just subbed into my triangle equality. Yeah. I saw because I graded your quiz one. I saw a lot of you wrote a lot. Did you guys check the solution, how short it could be? So the solution has 2 pages, and that's 2 version solutions already. Some of you has multiple pages. You do need to explain your steps, but okay, so let me tell you what you need to explain and what you do not need to explain. It's that, for example, let's use something really simple to talk about this. Let's say I want to do this. Okay, let's say we want to do this. What do you want to do first? Oh, this is not a good example. I want to do something that requires you to divide by something. Okay, I can't think of a good example. I just want to say, what do you do? What do you do during the quiz for the algebraic steps? You do not need to tell us you divided both sides by something, something, something. You do not need to write that. However, you do need to explain why you can divide that number. Okay, why you can divide by x squared, for example. You need to tell me it's because x squared cannot be 0. Okay? Does that make sense? So for the algebraic steps, you do not need to write them down. But for things that you use, for example, you used AGM, you use triangle inequality, you used a set identity. For example, those you need to you do need to explain. But everything else, how, like, what did you do? Like, for example, you multiplied both sides by 2x. You don't need to write that. I multiply both sides by 2x. That's not necessary. A very basic fact, you only need to do that at the very beginning of the course. Like right now, you don't need to do it anymore. You do not need to tell me why, for example, if I have an equality, if you multiply two sides by a positive number, the sign doesn't change. You don't need to tell me you use a basic fact. By now, I suppose everyone knows about it already, but you do need to reference something important such as triangle inequality, AGM, or De Morgan's law, something like that. You need to reference that. Yes, Sana. Yes, you are correct. So this is what I want to mention is you should never ever start with what you need to prove. You should start with a basic fact or something you know that's true, and then you reach to what you need to prove. Quiz 2 will be on 4 units. What do you mean 4 units? You mean 4 sections? Oh, I do not know what quiz 2 will be on. You can do rough work, but the proof you show us has to be a formal proof, cannot be a rough work. So you don't need to show your rough work, but you can do it. Okay, I'm gonna move on because we have a lot of material to do. Let's move on. I do not know yet when they make the decision, they will post the quiz 2 information. So I don't know yet because I'm not the one who's making your quiz. Usually I only get to see your quiz on your quiz day. So yeah, like in the afternoon. That afternoon, if you see your quiz at 6 o'clock, I usually see it around 2 o'clock because I need to proofread the solution and see if they made any typo. Just like last quiz, the solution was not perfect, so I added a few lines to the solution. So that's when I see your quiz. Right now, I have no idea. Anyway, stat operation. Let's talk about this. Enough about your quiz. We'll talk about that when we reach quiz 2. Okay, before quiz 2, we'll talk about that. Now, it's too early. Set operation. We have 5 set operations: intersection, union, difference, universal. I mean, not universal set, complement, and then Cartesian product. I believe people remember. Not remember. I believe all of you would understand 1, 2, 3, 4, but 5 is the one that a lot of students do not understand. So I'm gonna put a star here to remind you that you do need to understand that, although you might not see it a lot, but you will see it on your quiz. Okay, Cartesian product is something your professor really likes to test you about. Either here or in later unit, they can still use it. So anyway, other than that, one thing I wanna mention that's really, really, really important is, look at this. A intercept B, the definition is X in A and X in B. So this is what I wanna emphasize. For intersection, the connecting words is and. For union, the connecting word is or. Okay, do you guys see? And or. For difference is also and. Okay, those are really important. And I want to add something to it, is the common mistake. Okay, I hope you guys do not make the same mistake. because every year a lot of people make the mistake here, so I will mention it now. Common mistake. When we say X is not in something, for example, X is not in A intercept B, what does this mean? Okay, the definition of this, so this is equivalent to, I do not equivalent to this, I meant equivalent to X is not in A or X is not in B. So you see, both are intersection, but the connecting words changed from and to or. Similarly for union, this is equivalent to X is not in A and X is not in B. So or and also for difference, X is not in, sorry, not in this means X is not in A or X is in B. Okay, those are the common mistakes. This is De Morgan's law, right? No. This is by definition. Okay, you can't use De Morgan's law to explain it, but it's not the De Morgan's law you learned. You haven't learned this De Morgan's law yet. This, you can explain it using De Morgan's law for logic, but you guys are not there yet. You learned the De Morgan's law for sets. That's not this. Okay, are we good? So you can use those directly because it's by definition. Can I go over this once again? It's basically, I'm telling you, whenever you have not in something, the connecting words will change. If you have and, it will change to or. If you have or, it will change to and. You do not have a quiz tomorrow. Okay, and I have a few pictures to show you intersection, union, difference, and complement. Those, I suppose you know them already. So I wanna make sure you know Cartesian product because this is important. Why does it? It's by definition. I'll explain one and hopefully you can get the others. So let's say X is in A intercept B. If it is in this, then it's in both A and B, so it's and. But now if you say X is not in A intercept B, that means it can be anywhere in a white area. Okay, but this means what? This means X is not in A, right? So if you leave it here, it's not in A, or it's not in B. If you are here, then it's not in B, but it's not necessarily be outside B, for example, here. If you are here, then it's not in A and not in B, but your X can also be here or here. So it's actually not in A or not in B. It's basically definition. Okay, so it's definition. If you look at the graph, I think it will explain everything. So you can do the same thing for the other graphs. So I'll leave you to do that yourself. Okay, if you write, let's say if you write X is not in A intercept B, it should be everything in the white region. Anything outside of this will be okay. But if you write X is not in A, and x is 9b, that's gonna be only the outer part of this. So they're not the same. That's not what you mean. Okay? Cartesian product. What I want to mention is they are the set of ordered pairs. Ordered pairs means order is important. Order is really important in Cartesian product. X, Y, and YX, they are not the same. Okay? X, Y, YX, not the same. So, what does it mean? It means you have ordered pair XY, where X is from the first set and Y is from the second set. We will see example in a sec, but I want to make sure you know that order is important here. Okay, because for sets themselves, order is not important. The set includes 1, 2, 3, and the set includes 3, 2, 1. They are the same thing. But Cartesian product XY and YX are not the same. Here is the De Morgan's law everyone's talking about. So, De Morgan's law, we have those two. You can use those two directly without any proof because the first one is in the textbook, the second one was proved in lecture. For the complement, why does the notation have A, C? Well, C stands for complement. There are many notations for that. Yeah, C complement. So A complement. The worksheet is not on Quarkus yet. If you want to copy someone, send a copy in the chat, please. By the way, if you look at some books, they might use a bar as a complement. That's pretty common as well. But in this course, we'll use a complement as a C complement. Anyway, yeah. Those two, you can use them directly, unless on the quiz they ask you to prove this, then you have to prove it yourself. Very, very unlikely, but just in case, because I don't know what's on the quiz. Anyway, let's look at example 2. I'm so slow. I'm so behind, guys. Proof cannot be a Venn diagram. Proof cannot be a Venn diagram. You can use Venn diagram as a counterexample, but proof is proof. It's not a diagram. Okay. So if you are asked to prove something and you draw a diagram, no, it's not acceptable. It can be a counterexample. Like for example, they ask you to prove something and you say, this is false, and you draw a diagram. That's okay. Otherwise, if they say prove something, you cannot draw a diagram. You will get 0. I promise that you will get 0. Okay, if you draw a diagram for a proof. Similarly, if you give me example as a proof, you will get 0 as well. You need to use definition, yes. Not even 0.5. Similarly, if you use calculus in this course, you will get 0, okay? So do not do that. you will give 0.1. Cool. We don't do 0.1. We only do 0.51, 1.5, 2. Anyway, example 2, we're wasting a lot of time. X is 1, 2. I want to emphasize the curly bracket means it's a set. The square bracket or round bracket means it's interval. Okay, they are different. This means we only have 2 numbers, 1 and 2. This means it's every real number between negative square root of 3 and square root of 3. So that's infinitely many numbers in between. Now look at y. Y is this interval intersect integers. So what is my y? What elements are in Y? -1. Use a correct notation, please. Okay, the set that has -1, 0, and 1 in there. Okay, that's your Y. Exactly, nice. Now they ask you to list all the elements in the set. This looks complicated, so let's do them one by one. What's X Cartesian product Y? We would have order pairs, the first coming from X, so we'll have 1. The second coming from Y, so we can have -1. So 1, -1, 1, 0, 1, 1. And then 2, -1, 2, 0, and then 2, 1. Okay? And Y Cartesian product X would be, so the first come from Y, so -1, 1, -1, 2, 0, 1, 0, 2, and then 1, 1, 1, 2. Now my question is, what's in their intersection? Intersection means an element that's in both. So which element is in both X Cartesian product Y and Y Cartesian product X? 1, 1, exactly. Okay, 1, 1 is the only pair. -1, 1. Wait, what? The X of the first pair are always from the first set. Yes. So this can only come from X, and the second number can only come from Y. Anyway, that's example 2. Example 3. Express the set S as a union of intervals. So this is a set, we need to look for conditions. What does this mean? What do we have for this? This is the same as x minus 2 times x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 0. So we draw a number line. You'll have -3 and 2 here. Plug a number in, let's say -4. So -4 minus 2, -6 times -1, which is 6. That's greater than 0. So plus here. Plug in 0, you have negative number. Plug in 3, you have a positive number. Okay, so that means we are looking for this part and this part. So this is what we get from the first inequality. And from the second inequality, this means x is less than 4, which means we don't want 4, so that's empty circle. So we have something like this. Now if you add them together, you have -3, 2, and then 4. The first inequality will give you this. Second inequality combined with the first one will give you this. Right, so union of the interval will be -∞ to -3, union, oops, square brackets. Sorry, we want to include -3, 2 to 4. How do I know? As I mentioned, you can pick a number that's from here and see if this part is positive or negative. You want it to be greater than or equal to 0, so you want it to be positive. I plugged in -4, I see it's a positive number, so I know this is what I'm looking for. And similarly for the other portions. Any other questions? So this is my final answer. Question? Okay, before we move on, I want to emphasize a few points. Because I mentioned in my last tutorial, so I want to do the same for you guys. One thing is the empty set and the set of empty set, they are not the same thing. So you plug in a number from the interval, and if it turns positive, so it's positive on our number line. Yes, so because you want non-negative part, right? So you want this and this part because they are positive. If this is less than 0, then you want the middle part. So it depends on your inequality. Anyway, go back to this. The empty set and the set of empty set, they are not the same thing. This is a common mistake, okay? They are not the same thing. Not the same. So cross it out. They are not the same thing, okay? This has only 0 element in there. And this has 1 element in there. Is a set of empty set part of integer? No. It's not. Okay? It's not. Integers, they only have numbers in there. This is a set. The element of this is a set. This is a set of empty set. So its element is a set. And someone asked me in my last tutorial, how many subsets this has? The empty set itself is a subset of any set. So it's in this, okay? And itself is a subset of itself. So those two. I don't get it. How do you prove that? Like, wait, what? How do I say if something like that shows up? Okay, just talk.
Okay, so how do I prove that like that a set of empty set isn't a part of Z, isn't a subset of Z? Like how do I say that in a proof?
Because in integers, you do not have the empty set as one of the elements. All of your elements, they are numbers. You don't need to prove it, you just need to explain. So for example, Z is a set of numbers. So for example, 0, 1, -1, 2, -2, and so on. They are all numbers. You would not have a set in there. So when you have a set, it's definitely not an element of integer. It's definitely not an element of the set of integers. Okay, does that make sense? So you only have numbers in there. So if they ask you something like, is Z an element of R? No. Okay, no. Why? Because R is a set of numbers. All of those are numbers. Those are real numbers. But this is a set. You cannot have a set in a set of real numbers. So no. But what is a correct one? This is a subset of real number. Many examples like that. I do not have time to talk about all of them, but I do want to mention this so you don't make the mistake. Anyway, I'm gonna skip 4 and 5, and I will record separate videos to explain 4 and 5. We'll move on to 6, okay? We will do this one. because this is more important. I want to make sure when I do it, you guys are here. Live stream, watch the live stream instead of watching our recorded video. So, and also if because sometimes people ask me questions in office hours and I think they're really good. So in that case, whenever I get good questions that I think I need to remind you, I will email you. So even if you are not in my tutorial, you should have to this tutorial, then I will email you. Because when I email the attendees. So don't have to worry about that. Anyway, let's do this one. Before we do this, I wanna emphasize something which is really important, so please listen. How do we prove two sets are equal? You always wanna prove they are subsets of each other. No other way, okay? No other way. Oops. You first prove A is a subset of B, and then you prove B is a subset of A. That's how you do it when you prove two sets are equal. And how do you prove A is a subset of B? You pick an arbitrary element from A. So X is an element of A. Okay, and then you use the definition of set operations. Eventually, if you can get X is also an element of B, then you're done. Similarly, you pick an arbitrary element from B, and if you do some manipulation, you can get X is also an element of A, then you're done. Okay? Have to do this. Do not try anything else. You will lose mark. Okay? You need to show that they are subsets of each other. Anyway, let's try this example. You might say that, oh, but this is not equality. This is half of this, right? So you use this. What we want to do is first we want to pick an arbitrary element from the first set. So let's let X be an element of A intercept B minus B intercept C. Yes, if the steps are reversible, then you can use even only symbol. Yes. Okay, so we have this. And now you can use the definition of set difference. You'll get X is in A intercept B and X is not in B intercept C. Okay, we use the definition of set difference. Keep doing this. This part is gonna give you X is in A, intersection means and, X is in B. And you have not in, so you need to be careful. X is not in B or X is not in C. I'll move it to the side a bit because I need more space. Okay, so I got this part. So I'm gonna highlight them. I got this, expand to this, and this part expanded to this part. Now if you look at this, you see that X is not in B is not possible. Why? Because we already know X is in B. Oops. From the previous steps from here, you already know X has to be in B. So X is in A and X is in B. This is fixed. We know this is true. And since it's or statement, you pick from either this or this. And we know this is not possible, so we can only pick this. So this means that x is in A and x in B and not in C is the same as x is in B minus C. Okay? And then combine them together, you get x is in A intercept B minus C. Are we good? And we're done. You should have a conclusion statement, but I'm too lazy to write. Okay? Then you're done. Question? You do not need to explain. It's obvious. Okay, by the way, this is not a good written proof. Okay? Why? A good written proof, you should have words to explain in between, but I'm lazy. So I am pretty lazy, so I did not write this. Also, we do not have time to do those. So you can do this for a test, but for an assignment, you should practice writing a good proof. So for example, you should have some explanation in between. So for example, you should say, let x be in a set, then by definition of set difference, we have this and this. And then you can explain, you can say x is in this is equivalent to x in this and in this, and the later part will give us x is not in B, which is not possible because x is already in B, or x is not in C. And then you can say, since we know x is in A, x is in B, and x is not in C, we know that x is in A and x is not in B minus C, and then continue like that. So you should have some explanation in between, but I'm lazy. I'm lazy. If you write this, you will not lose mark. But I'm saying you should have, you should practice writing a good written proof. But if you have this, you will not lose mark. This is a complete proof. X is B minus C means X is in B, not in C. X is in B, not in C. Where do your textbook? Your textbook has a bunch of questions. For a complete proof, we should need to make some statements say. So I'm saying a good written proof, you should have more sentence in between to explain your steps, but this is okay. This is not wrong. You will not lose mark if you have this. You're done with the textbook? Wow. You can, wow. How did I get x belongs to B minus, oh, it's because x is in B and x is not in C is a definition of this. It's by definition. Yeah. Are you serious? You're done with the textbook questions? Wow, that's impressive. Okay, so in that case, you go to my page and you'll see more questions. Oops. For those topics, that's still impressive. So you go to Quarkus, you go to 102, you scroll down, you go to, where is me? Oh, here, you go to this page. And please leave your feedback here. It's anonymous, so I will not see who you are unless you want me to. You can put down your name. I'm not gonna see who you are, so leave your feedback. You can criticize me as much as you can, not as much as you want. And yes, Sarah, Senna, sorry, Senna. What do you wanna ask?
Okay, so is it possible for you to go back to the notes?
Go what?
Go back to the questions.
Oh,
The last
yeah.
question we solved. Right. Do you see on the right side, you have this note to prove A equals B, then one, we need to show that A is a subset of B, and then for second part, B is a subset of A. Now,
Yeah.
the proof that we did, we just proved, so let's say like the right side, I mean the left side
It's
is
because
A.
they asked you to prove this is a subset. They didn't ask you to prove they are equal.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, if
All right.
they ask you to prove they are equal, then you need to do the second part as well.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay, cool. Okay, go back to my page because I do want to say this. First of all, leave feedback, please. Okay, I have 2 hands raised. Just unmute yourself and talk.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure. So if the question did ask for equal, could we use if and only if in this situation or not?
In this, okay, I'm gonna say you have to check if your proof is actually reversible. If it is, then you can use if and only if. Yes, you can use that, but you need to make sure it's actually reversible. Because if it's not, then you cannot do that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
No problem. Okay, back to this again. Feedback. Okay, I emphasized it. If you have this open, you should have this open. Write down something, so I know what I need to how I can improve, and also have the math Discord. You can join. Just make sure you choose a 102 role in the role channel. So what I want to say is, if you go to this page, I made a to-do list. Those are things you need to do. You have assignment due September 25th, okay, by midnight. So if you have some concepts you do not understand, there are videos. I made those videos to help you. A lot of people see our book. I know that's available, but it's not due anytime soon, so I didn't put it here. Because I didn't. I'm definitely a last minute person. If an assignment is due tonight at midnight, I do it like 2 hours before that, before the deadline. That's me. So if it's not due this week, I do not put it here. I know it's available. Anyway, anyway, field axioms a lot of people do not understand, so I have 3 videos here, part 1, part 2, and part 3. So if you do not understand field part, you can watch those videos. And this recording from last year is the questions the other TAs are doing. Okay, so due to rho equals to due to rho, that's me. That's definitely me. Anyway, and then the tutorial recording, which is what we're recording right now, I will put the link here, and then tutorial worksheet, the blank one along with the solution will be here. Let's see. Okay, so it seems like we have quite a lot of discussion about due date. So last tutorial, see the recordings already here, and I have blank sheet and the solution here as well. I want to emphasize that it's quite important for you to show up to tutorial, like live stream tutorial, instead of just watching the videos. 2 benefits you get. One is if you show up, then I can actually email you if I remember something that I forgot. If you don't show up, then I can't email you if anything comes up. Okay, that's one benefit. The second benefit is when people watch videos, they tend to skip or use double speed or something. It's really easy to miss the important key part. But in lecture, you cannot force me to speak 2 times speed fast. So it's much easier to, it's much less likely you will miss any key points. That's my point. I do know you use 2 times speed. I do that too, but it's not a good habit. Do you know when you post October month calendar? It's almost October? Oh, it's almost October. Okay, I'll make one when I'm free. And yeah, possibly today or tomorrow. I will post one here, somewhere here. When are my office hours? I do not know. I'm teaching too many courses, so I don't know. Check the Quarkus page. Which textbook are we talking about? We're talking about the course notes. So let me show you. Homepage, this one. Course notes. We're talking about this textbook. And then TA info on office hours, my email, they're all here. There are other TAs as well. Go to their office hours as well. Blah, blah, blah. No, the note, the course note is our textbook. Any other question? Oh yeah, someone posted my office hours Thursday 10 to 10:30. Cool. And I think we're done. Okay, if you can't find your assignment, it's here. Click assignments and you will see problem set B, problem set C. Oh, you have a pre-class quiz soon. I cannot click it soon. That's cheating. It will be available for you. And blah, blah, blah. Yes, you can email me. I do not prefer email over office hours, so I think it would be better if you go to another TA or another professor's office hours if possible, because it's quite hard to explain using email. Even if you use Discord, it's better than email, because Discord I can use LaTeX, but email, I still don't know how to use LaTeX on email. Okay, someone raised their hand. Go ahead, talk.
Yeah, so you said you'll record videos for example 4 and 5. I was just wondering where I can find those later on.
Same place. So the place I just showed,
okay.
the page, I'll put everything there.
Okay,
so
sounds good.
If you need anything from me will be here. Okay.
Okay,
anything
thank you.
You can check other TA's page as well. For example, my best friend Daria, she has a YouTube channel as well. It's basically recordings and also something her life in med school. If you're interested, I'm promoting for her. Daria, if you see this, give me money, please. I'm promoting your channel. Money, please. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Yeah, Daria TA this course many times. See, 10 times. I don't think anyone TA'd more than her. So, and yeah. Anyway, how is that possible? We started TAing this course together in 2018, but she's always TAing the same course. So since 2018, she's TAing this course over and over again. I quitted this course a few times because of health issue. So, so I TA'd. No. Oh, we graduated. Daria's doing med school. I'm working. 2.5.11. I suggest you to watch my video from last year if you do not know how to do it. So watch this one. If you do not know how to do it, you need a hint. Then you watch. Where is it? Where is this? Oh, here. Tutorial 2 recording. Okay, we're over time. Bye everyone. I'm gonna go. Whether you want to or not, I have to go because I'm tired. Okay, last question. Unmute yourself.
Okay. This may be very, very like not a good okay, it's maybe not a good question, but like how do I know that my answers for the problem set B are correct, or like they're kind of written in a like a good proof so I can get a full mark? Like
Before you submit, um, I don't think you can get every single question checked, but if you want to check a specific question, you can make a private post on Piazza, and the professor or TAs can have a look, and if they want to, they can give you some feedbacks. But
oh really? Oh,
yeah, you can do that. That's one way to do it.
okay. All right. Thank you.
Try not to DM me on Discord because I have a lot of work. So if you can discuss in the channel, do that directly. If you have to DM me, then sure. But I would prefer you not to. Yes. Go ahead. You raised your hand again. Any more questions?
Mistake.
Okay, let's all leave them. Bye everyone.